Informer, you know, say that I'm a stormy, I go blam. I like you, boom, boom, bam. Take the man that say that I'm a stormy, stamp somewhere down the lane.
Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Time is 10:59 a.m. Yes, Jersey time. All right, let's get right to the story. This has to do with a posting on Facebook on the Point Pleasant Beach Facebook page, to be exact. It's a message from the Chief Joseph Michigan there, who has addressed the new legislation that went into effect here in New Jersey. Pot is now legal. Finally, after how many years? I never thought in my 60 years that I would ever see it legalized. All right, let me put the glasses on and let's read what he has to say. Now, what he's saying here has also been reiterated on other police departments, but this one seemed to rub me the wrong way. He did a follow-up posting, which I'll get to that right after this. So let's read the story. This is posted on Point Pleasant Beach, February 26th. And it says, to all residents of Point Pleasant Beach, and here it is. It reads as follows. On Monday night, Governor Philip Murphy signed 3 laws which decriminalized marijuana and set out orders to have previous convictions or pending cases dismissed. This was expected as majority of New Jersey residents voted to have marijuana legalized in the state. What was not expected was for parents to be denied access to information regarding their child's marijuana or alcohol use. Unlike the state of New Jersey, we believe parents deserve and need to know when their children are in dangerous situations, so we are outlining the changes to the laws. When officers now encounter juveniles who are in possession of marijuana and or alcohol, the following restrictions apply. Now, when they say juveniles, I want to say those under 18, but he doesn't specify that there. The odor, now listen, pay very close attention to this. The odor of marijuana or alcohol no longer constitutes reasonable articulable suspicion to initiate a stop of an individual under the age of 21, nor does it provide probable cause to search the person's personal property or vehicle. Take notes, are you with me? The unconcealed possession of an alcohol beverage or marijuana that is observed in plain sight shall not constitute probable cause to initiate a search of an individual under the age of 20 or that individual's personal property or vehicle to determine the violation of any law. An individual under the age of 21 who possesses marijuana or alcoholic beverages shall not be arrested, detained, or otherwise taken into custody except to the extent required to issue a written warning. For an individual under the age of 21 who possesses marijuana or alcoholic beverages as a first offense, the new law forbids officers to contact a parent or guardian. Well, first of all, if they're over 18, it's not the parent's business. Reviewing the new policy that presents itself as most problematic is the inability to freely communicate with parents. This police department has always sought the implementation of non-punitive measures for the majority of juvenile offenses, including underage alcohol, marijuana possession, or consumption, except if you're on the boardwalk, in which case they'll have no problem picking you up, slamming you on the ground, and arresting you, or getting you for smoking a cigarette. Formal charges have always been our last resort. Well, we all know he's full of crap there. The department, and more specifically our exceptional SRO, have worked with the school administrators to keep our students safe, open lines of communication with parents, and provide programs that empower healthy decision making. Okay, let's get on to the next posting, because this is kind of where I really unleash on them. All right, this is posted 2 days ago, so I'll say it's the 23rd of March. Here it is, right there. Sorry for the reflection. While voters in New Jersey voted to legalize cannabis for adults, Trenton has taken the extraordinary leap to pass a law that goes far beyond the voter mandate to include the de facto legalization of marijuana and alcohol for children. This law inexplicably bans police officers from notifying parents the first time their children are found to be using or in possession of marijuana or alcohol. Overreaching even further, the law criminalizes the good faith actions of police officers who, smelling marijuana, tries to investigate the underage use or possession by a child. As public backlash against this unprecedented legislative threat to children grows, Trenton now is signaling that there will be a cleanup bill that will allow officers to provide notification to parents when children are caught using or possessing marijuana or alcohol. The cleanup language, blah, 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 blah. The legislation turns our kids into innocent collateral damage and quest for social justice in New Jersey. It is wrong, it is indefensible, and it must be fixed. Chief Joseph, Michigan. Well, Chief, I think you're full of shit, okay? I think you're just promoting yourself, you're getting involved in politics, and your job is to enforce laws, not politics. So shut the fuck up. Now, as far as notifying the parents, this is my opinion on the matter. First of all, if you're going to listen to what the chief is telling you, he's making it sound like every minor in a car that's driving, so 17 years and up, you're driving. He makes it sound like every minor's got a six-pack of Coors Light sitting in the back seat. First of all, my question to you, Chief, how is a minor even getting alcohol at the age of 17 when the legal age to buy it is 21? So how many 17-year-olds have 21-year-old friends? Now, when I was 17, alcohol was illegal at 18. I had a friend who was 18. We go get a tall boy or something, sit underneath the bridge on Shrewsbury Avenue in Shrewsbury Township and drink a beer. But I don't recall ever driving around my car, even at 18, driving around with a six-pack sitting in the back of my car. If I was to do something like that, I would put the shit in my trunk. I don't think any 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old is that stupid, knowing that maybe they shouldn't have it, that they would leave it in the back seat for all to see. I think even a 17-year-old has enough sense in their head to say, you know what, I shouldn't have this beer. Maybe I should put it in the trunk. And second of all, how are they even getting the alcohol? Are they stealing from Dad from the refrigerator? I know my stepfather used to come home with a what do you call that?
Come on, man.
A carton, I can't think of it. It has like 6 packs of. It was a big box. It was just loaded with beer and a Budweiser beer, whatever he drank. Now, personally, I was never a beer drinker at that time. So, if this kid's getting the beer, where's he getting from? He's probably getting it from his parents, from the refrigerator. But I don't buy into this that every person from the age of 17 to 21 has an epidemic of drinking beer and driving around in a car. So that's all bullshit right there. So let's address the pot thing. Again, if you're that dumb, if you're 17 through 21 or 20 years old and you're that dumb to drive around with your pot on the front seat, I don't think anybody is that dumb. I know when I was 17 and I went to buy a little bag of weed or something to toke up on, when and if I was lucky enough to get it, I didn't drive around with it on the front seat. I put it in the trunk. I hid it somewhere. It was not in the cab of the car. Because we all know what the cops like to do. Oh, I smell marijuana. Get out of the car. Let me search it. Now back in the days, they didn't really have the dogs, so they just did what they could do to get away with. But now they got the dogs. So that brings me to another opinion here is legalizing marijuana and taking away the probable cause that the officer, erroneously smelled. They're always smelling pot. It's amazing how they can smell pot. They don't smell their own bad breath backing up on them, but they smell pot, which is just a bullshit excuse that they generate because you have no way of proving or disproving that as a defendant. And we all know that they're going to trust the cop over you to defend it. So the cop generates this thing, oh, I smell pot, I want to get in your car. Gets on the radio, call the canine in. So this new legislation and everything effectively renders the canine dog useless. You with me, folks? You still with me on this? So, canine dog is almost useless now because they pull you over and pot's legal, so what's the point of calling the dog? to see if you got a 5 pounds of pot in the back seat of your car or in the trunk. You can have now up to 6 ounces, shockingly, in your car. You can have on your person. Oh, before I forget, this probable cause thing. It's just. Let me get back, because I just lost my train of thought on that. Anyway, so they want to be able to notify the parents. And I think that's bullshit, okay? The job of the police is to enforce laws, not play daddy. And one of the things I pointed out on their Facebook page, well, why don't you cops want to rat out kids and jam people up, but when it comes to you being transparent, oh no, the union is fighting against the state trying to implement transparency of records. Cop gets in trouble. You think Point Pleasant Beach is going to give you those records of the disciplinaries? Of course not. They won't. They will not give it to you. It's private information. It's personnel records. So they protect themselves. They don't want anybody to know what they're doing. And boy, and if you sue a police department and you take that settlement, guess what you sign? You sign a non-disclosure thing so that you can't talk about it. Because the police don't want you to know what they are up to. It's up to you to have to go find. You as a citizen, I sue somebody, police department, and I take a settlement. I can't talk about it. But you can go do an Oprah request. But how do you know I did that? How do you know I sued anybody? You don't. Unless I tell you, you find out through the grapevine. So they're very quiet. They don't want you to know what they are doing, but they want to rat you out. And it's not the job of the police to do that. It's the job of the parents to keep an eye on their kid. And how many people out there are you people watching my video? And I know there's cops out there to watch my video. Probably half my viewers are cops. How many of you, when you were 16, 17, had a beer with your friend? Yeah. Okay, thank you. This chief makes it sound like every kid out there, there's an epidemic of 17 through 20-year-olds drinking beer and smoking pot, and it's all bullshit. There wasn't a problem before, and now there's a problem now. But you're just crying sour grapes, Chief, because you lost a reason to get into people's cars and search it and jam people up. That's what you're all mad about. You're losing revenue. And let's talk about the revenue, people, what they generate, okay? When they arrest somebody, okay, say low-level pot or the alcohol in the car thing, all right? So now they got to go to municipal court. They're going to make money on the fines. The cop, if you contest the charges, the cop's got to go to court. Guess what? He gets overtime for doing it. And finally, what all these arrests and everything does, it makes the chief look like he's a great guy. Because people say, well, Chief, what's going on in town? What are you doing? Well, you know what, Mr. Smith? This past year, we arrested all these lawbreakers with the pot, and boy, we got some of those people with alcohol in the car. Woo-ah! And by the way, let me ask you something, Chief. Explain to me what test you're going to stop a kid 17. He has a little bag of weed on the front seat. He's stupid enough to leave a little $20 bag or a $10 bag of weed, which is about the size. It's a $10 bag of weed. It's about the size of this quarter, okay? So you're assuming or inferring that the person you stop with the weed on the front seat or the back seat is under the influence. So, Chief, tell me what test out there determines that person is under the influence of marijuana? Oh, that's right. You have to go get the behavioral specialist to come down and look at them. Well, you know what, Chief? You're going to stop me. I'm not opening my eyes. I'm not going to let you look at my eyes. I'm not answering any of your fucking questions either. And that's my advice to everybody 17 to 20. Don't answer any questions. Don't submit to any of these stupid roadside behavioral testings that they may want to try to do. And most importantly, if you're going to transport your marijuana or your beer and you're between the ages of 17 and 20, put it in your trunk. And when the cop stops you, don't answer any questions. Just say, hello, officer, how are you today? How may I help you? Well, I'm sorry, officer. I know you're just doing your job, but my lawyer told me, my parents told me not to answer any questions. But this is what they want to do. This is just a political move for the cop, for the chief there and his little cronies, his little dry humpers with the badges. Because that's what they are. They're dry humpers with badges. They like to get you down on the ground and rub the junk into you. He's just trying to look, I'm out there to protect the neighborhood. I'm out there doing the right thing, saving our children from all these terrible things. Well, guess what, people? When I come right back in a second here, I'm going to tell you who the real drunks are that we need to be worried about.